So why don't you talk about geo-targeting?
Sure. One of the things Google has been setting up, and they've been constantly improving, is location detection. So they can tell from your computer, because of your IP address, more or less where you're located. And you might have gone to a site where you typed in, I'm looking for whatever, I'm looking for vitamins, or I'm looking for...
Well, let's do like landscaper or something.
Well, actually, it's relevant, because if I'm looking for vitamins, and it brings you to a site that talks about health and diet, and then it brings you to an ad that says, well, this woman lost 150 pounds in 3 weeks, and she's located in New York City, and you happen to be in New York City. How does that happen?
Right, well, exactly.
They find your IP address, and it relates back to New York City. Getting to our conversation here is this. What happens is you can go into your Google account and actually set it up so that you display only in New York City, only in specific cities, only in certain zip codes, so that if you're targeting certain clientele and you know they're physically located somewhere in Manhattan, you can target just those zip codes, and that's really it. So now this won't guarantee that your ad will only show to them, but it minimizes the wasteful traffic that you're going to get to people that are outside of the area that you want to target.
Right, so this will limit the money that would be spent on someone who's in Rhode Island who's trying to find something in Connecticut, where they could separate it by state or by zip code. And a lot of times I think we find that zip code matching is probably the best way to start the campaign, as opposed to trying to do a radius search. But let's go into this, take a look at the next section, and we're going to go through geo-targeting.
Okay, we're going to talk about the geo-targeting element. One of the most critical things is to look at where you're trying to sell to, and this depends on what location you're, if you're a local business, if you're going to put your location as the key element here of what services you support in a region, or if you're an e-commerce company, you're going to be, maybe segmenting your ads to certain countries or to certain areas of the U.S. We're going to go into that. So just go to our campaigns. We go to our first campaign. I picked just something that I put up here real quickly so that I could show you an example. You are going to have to get your billing information into the system before they allow you to get to these sections. So if you haven't put your billing information in, this stuff won't pop up. And you can always put your ads on pause while you're making changes, which is right here, for any of your campaigns. And that's what we're going to do right now, since we're going to be changing some settings here. So once you've entered your billing information and you've got your campaign up and running, we're going to look at how to change up geographic sections. So we're going to look at our ad groups, and we're going to go into ad group 1 in this case, and we're going to look at, here's the ad, and what we want to do is we want to work on the settings within this ad group. Okay, so it's gonna, if you hit settings and say change campaign settings, and we'll go down to locations. So as you can see, I've targeted specific areas here, and we're going to edit that. So what it's going to basically allow you to do is change the settings of where you want to be set up. So let's just remove the current settings. We'll just remove all. And let's just do, typically you're going to, what it will initially say is that you have US and Canada in here. That's the default settings. So let's just add in United States and just click add. Okay, so now my ads would run throughout the United States. Most local businesses want to, so you just hit save and you'd have that as the location. But let's go back in there and let's remove that, and let's just go into, let's say, the state of New Jersey. Okay, so it also gives you the reach, and it gives you abilities to add in stuff. So if we wanted to say, look at nearby, It will pull up a map. And we could say add New York and Pennsylvania. All right, so now we could add those in, so we just click the add button. And then once we've done that, we would click done. And so now we're going to save it, and now we're in 2 states. But what if you want to go down to very specific locations? So let's go back here and edit this. Let's remove these. And what we can do is we can do a radius as well. So, or we can do a zip code. But let's put the advanced search criteria in. Okay, let's do a radius targeting. And what we'll do is we'll zoom into our area that we want to. Oops, a little too close there. And let's go into, let's just say you wanted to go pick New York, and you can drag and drop here, but the best thing is to do is click this and then just bring it into a section. Alright, so that's going to give us a 20-mile radius around New York. So we'll just add that in. Now this is done. Save. And we've got a 20-mile radius around New York. Now if we went back here and we wanted to now add an additional section. So let's get into looking at some nearby stuff. So we could then add in certain areas. They do it by congressional districts, they do it by zip codes. There's a lot of things you can do here, but if we wanted to just add in certain sections, we could, and these are within the framework of this particular radius, so it's going to be duplicate targeting, which really doesn't matter. But it's giving us some suggestions you can just click add all, and that kind of gives you the areas within the radius and so forth. And then you can actually add in other areas if you want to by adding in other radiuses and adding in other sections. So you can just pick another radius target, and let's just click this pin and select right here. So we're going to add another section, and this is sort of used, I think, if you're just looking for bulk areas, and it allows you to add in general regions. So wherever the blue target is, that's where your sections are. So, but let's look at a very specific zip code focused search. So let's remove all these and save it. So now we're going to now just enter in a zip code. Okay, so let's save that. Let's go back to that and go to our advanced search. So I've just got one town in here. So now what we can do is, if we really wanted to get hyper local, we could then add in nearbys and just start basically pinpointing. So you could just go through this entire list and add town by town, which some people will do if they're very specific on where they want their ads in, and it will give you a total count of towns. And again, if you wanted to segment this as a separate, so now we got this, or saved that section. Let's edit again. Let's do an advanced search, and let's type in another zip code. Let's just do 07. 026. Let's see where that is. So let's do this town, and then let's add in the nearby towns and sections. So you can get as far and wide and as segmented as you want. You can play with this tool. They also have the ability to draw up a specific this is more of a, and I don't use this very often, but it does allow you to put in a general radius targeting. And I don't find it as useful as just basically doing zip codes or general radius targeting. Bulk location is really not that necessary because most of the people that we're working with don't have multiple countries. But for a local person or for a business, now you've understood how to do not only radius targeting, which I think is pretty much the easiest way to do it. I try and kind of keep it to a point where if a local business wants to pick an area, we'll do that, and that will be the area. Now here's the other thing that you need to also look at. What we want to do is make sure that we want to hide areas. So in some cases we may not want to have, so if we did let's do the radius targeting again, and let's just add in, let's say right here. Great, I'm going to add that. So now my ad's being shown for all those locations. So what we may want to do is, let's say we don't necessarily want to sell in certain areas. So obviously we can exclude sections. So we don't want to sell in Manhattan, that area. We don't want to sell over here. We don't want to sell in anywhere up here. Again, these are all the sections that you can now exclude from the search. So we may set a radius, but we may want to exclude certain areas because we don't service that. And you can fill in this stuff, but it goes by pretty quickly. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. If we don't want to sell in New York, but we want to keep the area that is covered by the radius from the entire New York area or upper New Jersey here, we've got this radius section with exclusions. And so you can see that now that we've got targeted locations plus excluded locations. And that's basically it. So now that this is done, you can see that you've got the ability to look at other people. So there are other things here from advanced standpoints that really these are not really necessary. They're for people who may be on a browser that's got an exclusion in their browser capability. And again, these are people who have changed up the settings within their browser to, let's say, if you're in Florida and you change your browser setting to a New York IP address or a New York location standpoint, then that would include these people as well. But that's basically it. That is geo-targeting, and it's pretty simple. Once you use it once, you can drill down into exact areas. But a lot of people just keep it, to open their areas. You don't want to get too tightened up with some of this stuff. You want to make sure that you have an open enough area to cover your business if you're local, or if you're national, you want to make sure you're national, just keep US in there. Or if you want to take Canada or just Canada, you can add those selections as needed. So let's go and remove all those, and we can just do, let's say, Canada, country, and let's just do US. So that's it.